course, Mr. Robert Smullen. I am well, we had technical difficulties here, and I got distracted. But you are on time, sir, for your phone call today, for your interview here. You are Can I say that you're the leading Republican so far for the 21st and the upcoming primary this June, sir?
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. I've announced that I'm running for Congress in the 21st Congressional District. I'm Robert Smullen, the state assemblyman from the 118th Assembly District, and I'm very proud to be out in the campaign and asking for people to support me in my efforts to become the next congressman in New York's 21st Congressional District.
Well, that's fantastic. And how long have you been in the Assembly, sir?
I've been there just about 6.5 years at this point. I was first elected in 2018, and I've served, this is my fourth term. I've been elected 3 times unopposed, running in the 118th Assembly District.
And I got to ask you right off the bat, obviously this being an open seat, a very, very charismatic congresswoman, and Elise Stefanik is leaving for hopefully better pastures as governor of New York State. And I hope that I know that you feel the same way about that. I hope she wins. It's going to be difficult. But what made you want to run for Congress, sir?
Well, Elise has been an outstanding representative for our region. I'm going to continue that record of leadership by putting what I call duty, service, and results above politics for the people in the North Country. I served for 24 years in the Marines. I think our country needs somebody who's battle-tested, a service-driven conservative, somebody who's never going to back down. Look, I've proven that in Albany. I'm defending our values here in Albany. I'm going to take that very same attitude right down to Washington, D.C., and I got to also say, I'm the only candidate in this race who's actually appointed by President Trump and worked alongside him to advance the America First agenda. I think I'm ready for this next mission, and that's to be the congressman from the 21st Congressional District.
Born in 1968, you're a relatively young man. Are you originally from where you are in the, how do I put this, the eastern part of the 21st District, sir? Were you born and raised there?
I was. In fact, I live 1 mile from where I grew up in a little hamlet called Mico, which is right outside of Gloversville. I graduated from Gloversville High School, worked for my family's masonry construction business, got to go off to school, got a scholarship, took our OTC, joined the Marines, and I came right back to where I'm from. I'm very, very much proud to be from this area of upstate New York.
Because often, and again, we've seen that in other races over the years, particularly for the congressional districts, people moving from one district to the other, or someone who claims they were live here, or they might have had a summer home there years ago. So it's always good to know that you are an actual native of the 21st District, very similar to how Elise was. I think Elise was raised not too far from where you are, sir.
Well, that's it. So, I've been here really since I came home from the Marine Corps in 2015. Before that, I'd had some great service all around the world, 3 combat tours in Afghanistan. I've lived all over the world. I've worked in Washington, D.C. I was appointed by President George W. Bush as a White House Fellow in 2003, 2004. I've worked in all sorts of countries all around the world, and there's no place like the Adirondack region that I'm from, and that's why I'm so proud to be from here and why I'm making it my mission to support our values and our people in Washington, D.C. in Congress.
We just saw last week a special election in Tennessee, and her name escapes me, but certainly a socialist, way left of center. They called her the AOC of Tennessee. And she went up against a guy similar to you, my friend, sir, excuse me, in that he is, he's a military man with great credentials, just like yourself. And often when I saw him interviewed either on Fox News or on the radio with Sean Hannity right here on AM 1240, high credentials, certainly qualified for the job. And yet he did win by a decent margin, although the polls suggested it was going to be tighter. But a good part of Nashville actually voted for this bimbo, and I referred to that. That's my opinion. I'm not putting words in your mouth, sir. But what is it with the latest trend of socialists that are running in primaries, or for that matter, excuse me, she did win the primary amongst, I believe, 5 or 6 people, and then of course she came out pretty strong. All things considered, in the special election. Are you fearful of that in this particular district, sir?
Not at all. I represent all the people in my assembly district, and I can tell everybody that I would represent all of them in the Congressional District. Whenever I go to vote in Albany, I take the conservative principles that 70% of the people in my district want, and I apply them into the actual assembly itself. And I would do the very same thing. You know, President Donald Trump had appointed me to the President's Commission on White House Fellows because he trusted my leadership, my ability, my commitment to America first. That's what I mean by putting upstate first, to take all of the issues that people want: lower costs, reviving the economy, protecting our constitutional rights like the Second Amendment, backing the blue, supporting our veterans, education. These are all the things that I've worked on really since I've been in the Assembly, and I would bring the very same things to the Congress on behalf of the people, of all of the people of the 21st Congressional District.
So, I mean, I think it's pretty, I'm confident in saying this, that you're more than likely the person, and I'm just going to be speaking very optimistically about yourself because you are the forerunner at this point. You are under consideration, I believe, this past spring when there was going to be a special election. But at that point, the president and his administration pulled the rug out of that whole process because of the tight margins in Congress. He doesn't want to run into what he ran into 2018. And I know you can appreciate that. But your name came up then. Your name comes up now. And then in that whole process, the strong consideration for the Democratic side was Mr. Gendabine, a farmer from St. Lawrence County. What say you about, what he represents? He's certainly not left of center. He is a liberal, but he's not a crazy, socialist. Do you think that's a fair race, if you went up against him in the general election?
Well, I think there wouldn't be any issue in that race of me winning because of my great ability to connect with all the people in all of the districts, including all of our farmers. I think I've been working for the last 6 years making sure that businesses, that we lower costs because families are being crushed by inflation, investing in our small towns. I'm actually the author of the Republican Rural Initiative for all of upstate New York. It's got broad bills that cover areas that have been really troublesome for all of the area around the 21st Congressional District.
Right.
So I also learned in the military that I can work with anyone all across the aisle. I can do all of the things that need to be done to make sure that we put upstate first in Washington, D.C. And I think it's a very strong record. I think I'm a strong, substantive person, and I look forward to letting everybody know what I stand for and making sure that they know all that I was about and ask them to vote for me either in a primary or in the general election so I could represent them in Washington.
Well, needless to say, with your military background and experience, that comes in very handy when it comes to the 21st District, being the home of the 10th Mountain Division. What say you about that, sir?
Well, the 10th Mountain, those soldiers from that camp, I served within every one of my 3 tours in Afghanistan. There are always soldiers from the 10th Mountain Division there. I know what it's like to be deployed. I know what it's like to be in a Marine Corps family. I know what it would be like to take care of the soldiers and their families at Fort Drum. So I would be a very perfect representative to be able to make sure that Fort Drum was kept front and center in this 21st Congressional District. I'd be very proud to do that.
I know, again, when campaigning, and I mean this all respectfully, of course, sir, we're talking to Mr. Smullen, who is going to be who's running for the Republican primary. I believe it's the first week, or check that, the third Tuesday in June. And again, we went through this process, so to speak, early last year. Anthony Constantino, a businessman from south of where you are, sir, he was under consideration. There was other people there was someone working with the military, or the Border Patrol. His name escapes me, but there was a litany. There was at least 5 or 6 names there, but your name kept popping up, and it was getting some type of prominence. But that's when everything ended. But I've got to ask you, when if and when you did become congressperson, people argue, and I see where they're coming with this, either on the Democratic side or the Republican side, that essentially you become a rubber stamp for the Republicans, where if you have high ideals and intentions for your district, can you get those things pulled off when, in essence, as a congressperson, you're really voting for the party down there in Washington, D.C.?
Well, I'm a Marine, I'm a conservative, and I'm the only Trump-appointed candidate in this race. But I got to tell everyone that I want to be an aspirational servant leader who lights the path forward instead of chasing the spotlight. Service is who I am. It's always what I've done, and it's what I'll continue to do in Congress. People need to visit robertsmullenforcongress.com and learn a little bit more about me. They can learn all about me. I'm asking for their support, and I actually ask for their consideration in this race.
Do you think? I mean, as far as we know that a Congresswoman, Lee Stefanik, a superstar. I often refer to her as a Beatle. Essentially, we've had great Congress people for representing the 21st District, and I'm sure you're familiar with them over the years. But she's got big shoes to fill. Do you think you're the guy that can fill her shoes, sir?
I'm the exact right person to be able to fill those shoes. I'm running to take American values. It's my new mission. To take it, to go to Washington, D.C., to make sure that we're well looked after, here in this district, here in this state, all across this country. To win this fight, though, I need a great team behind me. So people, and I really appreciate everybody doing so, and I'm asking for their support.
It's a big district, a lot of geography. I mean, you got to go. It's the second biggest district east of the Mississippi River. Are you up for the challenge?
I'm absolutely up for the challenge. I'm a Marine. I'm an America First person that's going to take and put upstate first.
Now, will there be a series of debates, or is it too early to say?
Oh, I hope so. I'm looking forward to many debates. It's one of the strongest things that I can do is be out in public and tell people not only who I am, but what I stand for, and be able to answer their questions in public as to what's on their mind. I've done it very consistently across the 46 towns, 20-plus villages, and 3 small cities in the 118th Assembly District, and I'd be doing the very same thing across the 15 counties in the 21st Congressional District.
Yeah, it's a big chunk of change, but you're up for the challenge, and that does not surprise me, sir. Robert Smullen, one more time, can you give us that website and how people can find out more information about you online, sir?
Yeah, please find out at www.robertsmullenforcongress.com. There's even a link to donate out there if people want to do so. It'd be very much appreciated.
Mr. Smullen, thank you for being on our show today. Sorry for the miscue earlier, only because I was just trying to fix some audio, and I'm glad you were able to call in on the Live at 5 show, and we will certainly be speaking with you in the future.
Thanks for having me on, Glenn. I appreciate it. Anytime, I'd be glad to come back on.
That sounds great, and have a good night, sir.